Reported the first case of COVID-19 in the country was on the 6th of March this year. And one of the directives that was given by Health Cabinet Secretary, that is Mutahi Kagwe, was that there will be no visits in 107 facilities. This included, some of the facilities included the prisons, the Boston institutions and youth corrective training institutions, better known as approved schools. So what does it mean to prisoners in terms of being visited by their loved ones? What does it mean to the loved ones who want to visit the relatives in prisons? To have this discussion with us this morning, I have Rose Moturi, who is the Director, Inspection and Compliance at the Kenya Prisons. You can see on your screen right then. Also joining us is the CEO of Faraja Foundation, that is Jen Kuria. Ladies, good morning, and thank you so much for talking to us here on KTN News Center. Let me begin first with Madam Moturi. Talking about the directive that was given, it was a 30-day directive, and if I'm not wrong, the 30 days elapsed on the 20th of April.
Yes. It elapsed on the 20th of April, but the same was extended for another 30 days. Yes.
That extension of the next 30 days, what measures have you put in place to ensure that the prisons, the 107, correctional facilities that we have in the country do not report any case of COVID-19?
Yes, we've put in measures, and we have cascaded down the measures that have been put in place by the Ministry of Health. And all the 127 facilities are observing those protocols. They have been cascaded down. And I remember immediately the first case was reported. The PS Correction Service and the Commissioner General of Prisons put a team in place that daily evaluates the activities and what is happening down as far as COVID-19 is concerned. And that team is composed of regional commanders and OICs of all the 127 facilities around the country, where we get briefs on a day-to-day basis on the implementation of the protocols that have been set out by the Ministry of Health.
And Madam Moturi, this restriction does not only apply to prisoners but also to their staff, the prison staff.
Yes. Yes, they do, just like they apply to all Kenyans.
All right, let me bring in Jen Kuria, who's the CEO of Faraja Foundation. And when the government gave this directive, so many Kenyans were talking about the rights of the prisoners because they need also to be seen. They need to be visited by their relatives who need to know about their welfare.
Yeah, good morning. That's true, Brenda. We understand that is a position. But on the same vein, because of what COVID-19 is all about, the lockdown had to be done, because you can imagine in the prisons, if one inmate or officer gets COVID-19, then it will be a crisis. So this is something that has to be done because it calls for such strict measures. Yeah.
And as Faraja Foundation, you deal a lot, you handle most cases of prisoners. So how are you ensuring that at least these prisoners get the love, the care that they're not receiving right now as we speak from their relatives?
Yeah, our work as Faraja Foundation has been greatly affected, obviously, by the lockdown, because we interact very directly with the prisoners in the prisons and the officers. But because of that, because we can't go into the prisons now, this is the second month, we are ensuring that our activities continue in terms of providing toiletries. We have given tissue, we have given soap for sanitation. This is because the visitors or parents or families cannot visit the people in the prisons. We are also working closely with the officers to ensure that those that are leaving prisons, we are able to help them after COVID, because one of our activities or mandate as Faraja also is assisting ex-prisoners to reintegrate back to the community by giving support to start their lives, to go back to school or different skills. So we are working very closely with the department, the officers, especially the welfare officers, who are directly in charge with the inmates to be able to assist in the work that we have been doing over the years. So everything is going on despite differently, because now people have to be innovative and do things in a different manner. But it's working.
All right.
working for us.
So, Madam Muturi, if I may bring you back to this conversation, we're talking about the rights of prisoners. And I mean, I believe it was so hard also for the prison department to explain to the inmates that they will not have any visits. What was their reaction when you first told them there'll be no visits now for the next month? This is not the second month that that directive was given.
Yes, we do appreciate the challenges that have come up with COVID-19 and the importance of visits in prisons, particularly for our inmates. And just like the general population, whatever that is happening is not the normal life that we are used to. And prisoners have been briefed accordingly, they have been sensitized, and they also care about, their life. Other than observing the standard minimum rules in terms of management of prisoners and their rights, but they also care about their life. They want to live just like any other Kenyan, and therefore they are supporting the measures that have been put in place. As much as I know there is anxiety, they are not able to communicate with their inmates, with their relatives, but we've put measures in place where we have availed phone calls. They can be able to call. We are focusing on that. They can be able to call their relatives and assure them that they are safe and fine while inside the prisons.
Muturi, how are you ensuring a social distancing? Because the prisons are congested, and social distancing, we're talking about 1 meter, 2 meters away from the person that you're interacting with.
We are trying our level best, humanly possible, given the circumstances we operate in, and given that the prison population is a vulnerable population. We have put measures in place and communicated the same to our inmates, and they are aware, various forms of communication. We have, particularly through the courts are doing, have supported our measures, and the numbers have been reduced through revision of bonds and so on. As of today, when the announcement came in, we had a population of around 54,000 inmates, but as of today, we have 46,169. The numbers are coming down, and therefore, humanly possible, we are trying what we can do to make sure that the prisoners are safe inside the prison, and as far as social distancing is concerned, we are putting in our best.
All right, and as we bring this conversation to an end, Ms. Kuria, we're talking about the sort of measures that have been put in place by the Kenya prisons. Are you satisfied with that?
Yes, Brenda, as non-state actors, we are satisfied, and we have to thank the government because of all the measures that they have put in place. We also thank the media, because the media is very critical here because of giving information and creating awareness to the public. So we think we are very okay, because these are difficult times and this has to be done. But on the same vein, I think I'm also appealing to Kenyans. Apart from COVID-19, we also have an issue of floods in many parts of the country. So as part of the state and non-state actors, we also have to come in here to assist, because we know there's a lot going on in the country. So we are also appealing for people to come in and visit and help in the flood-stricken areas. But on the same vein, I think for the inmates, the biggest concern we may have right now as Faraja is those that are leaving the prisons right now, because as Madam Muturi has said, many of them are leaving prisons now. The challenge here is that these prisoners are going to already very poor backgrounds or poor areas, already strained communities. So we're also appealing to Kenyans. The people living in prisons, please support them. Please accept them back. They are not sick. They are just leaving prisons because their term is over, so that we can all help build this country. And maybe as I wind up, Brenda, after I leave here, I'm going to Kenya Red Cross Society.
All right.
Because Faraja Foundation also wants to give food to some of the people going through floods.
All right.
And food is a requirement at the moment. So yeah, we are okay with that.
Thank you so much, Ms. Kuria. That jingle means I need to bring the first hour of KTN News Center to an end. But thank you so much, ladies, for talking to us here on KTN News Center. Rose Muturi, the Director, Inspection and Compliance at the Kenya Prisons, and Jen Kuria, the CEO of Faraja Foundation, talking to us about the welfare of prisoners during this time of COVID-19. My name is Brenda Zedar. Did I bring it to an end when it comes to the first hour of KTN News Center? Let's meet again at the top of the hour, 10 a.m. for more stories making the headlines.